Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod After Dark. I'm Jeff, and maybe I should make a mashed potato for the other side. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my cuz-host.
I'm Leslie, and I don't just grab any flour. I have to pick the right one.
That's right. She's a Philistine. She would not understand. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are watching Big Night, the 1996 Waiting for Guffman with a restaurant instead of community theater masterpiece. Written by Stanley Tucci and Joseph Trapiano, directed by Campbell Scott and Stanley Tucci, starring Stanley Tucci and Tony Shalhoub, Mark Anthony, Larry Block, Minnie Driver, Isabella Rossellini, Allison Janney, and Ian Holm, Bilbo Baggins himself. And we watched this in conjunction with Season 4, Episode 19, The Labors of Love, largely because there were relatives in that episode, and there's a restaurant at stake. The Peach Pit. Our spelling connection is Larry Block. He was the guy in the restaurant who was just like there all the time.
Okay.
He was in an episode of Charlie's Angels, and for the first time ever, I am counting the soundtrack as a spelling connection because Louis Prima not only didn't show up in this, but his music is all over it, and his music is used for not only in an episode of 90210, but also as the episode title for season 10, for a season 10 episode.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a musical spelling connection. This movie has 97% on Rotten Tomatoes and 84% on the Popometer. So everybody is like, this movie's pretty good.
Yes.
And I don't want to speak for you, but we agree.
Yes, we agree. We watched it together, so I mean, you almost could speak for me.
Mm-hmm. We did. We got to watch this one together, and I tipped this hat a little bit at the end of our Peach Pod episode this week, but we've now seen two movies together.
Yes,
we've seen this, and we have seen Teen Wolf. Which of these two movies did you like better, and why was it obviously Teen Wolf?
Well, let me think about it. It was Big Night.
Yeah, it was. You liked this movie way better.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So without denigrating Teen Wolf, because, you know, Teen Wolf is awesome. Even though it's not any good, it's still awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. What struck you about this? Why did you like this?
I liked that there was almost an indie quality to it, like.
Oh, not almost, 100%.
No, there is.
Yeah.
The reason I'm hung up on calling it indie or small budget, even though it is those things, is I have such a hard time fathoming that, because this budget was $4 million. And I'm like, again, Philistine, I'll call myself an amateur. Like, I've been pursuing professional theater and work in this for a long time. I still know very little. And $4 million sounds like a fucking lot to me. And it is, but it is technically still a small budget film. But I like that about it. I think I saw somewhere that Stanley Tucci wrote this for himself so he'd finally have a good part. And I went,
feel that?
Yes,
100%.
I feel that. Stanley, keep writing stuff for you because we want to see you, buddy. I don't know why no one's casting you anymore. Call me.
I don't know. I mean, what was the last thing he did? It's not like he's not busy.
No, but I mean, he's doing like travel shows and stuff now.
Well, yeah, definitely.
But I've definitely seen on the internet where people are like, why isn't this guy working more? Although that could be a choice. Rick Moranis had to step away from the limelight. So Stanley, you do you. But I mean, if I were ever to be so blessed as to have you call me because you wanted to work together and write something, that'd be a dream come true. Let's make martinis, baby.
Yeah, I guess he hasn't. Well, no, he's in Fountain of Youth and The Electric State, 2 movies this year. Oh, he was just in Conclave. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I feel like Stanley Tucci's doing okay.
Okay. Well, I'm not
Everybody
taking that
likes him.
back. He's great. Everyone
He
likes
is
him.
great. Yeah,
And
go ahead.
just another reason to like this film, Stanley
Hmm?
Tucci.
Yeah.
Um, there's, I mean, it's a period drama, and
Hmm.
it feels like a play. I don't always love movies that feel like a play because sometimes I end up watching it and going, I would have rather have seen this on stage because when I'm
Sure.
sitting in an audience, I am more okay with feeling the passage of time than I
Sure.
am when I'm sitting in my own space and I'm like, I can pause this. I don't like having the ability to pause a story.
Yeah, I get
It
that.
feels wrong.
Sure. Yeah, it's not how it was intended for sure.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot to like about this film,
Hmm.
and I could go on and on, but I want to hear your thoughts as well.
Um, I love the two central performances. I think that Stanley Tucci and Tony Shalhoub are amazing. And guess what? Not staking out brave territory there. Like these guys are great. They just fucking are. And in this, they are sublime. Like they are so good with each other, and in these parts, like I mean, Shalhoub is full soup Nazi. Like I feel like they based the soup Nazi off of this character, the look of him, but I don't think so. I think it's just based off the real guy. I think
I'm
that's just how they are.
Here's the thing. I feel like if you've worked in the service industry and have any respect for what you're making, because like when I worked in coffee and
Hmm.
people would want to ruin coffee with
Sure.
all the extra flavors and shit,
Yeah.
I definitely felt like Tony in this movie. And he
Yeah.
has way more stake in this, in what he's doing, than I had in being a barista.
True. I think that's um I hope that's true for your sake. Because if you cared about being a barista as much as he cares about what he's doing, then the fact that you're not a barista is a problem and you should
Yes.
solve it. Um, so I really like the central performances. I think that it feels um, contained and very intimate because it basically takes place in two rooms. I mean, he goes to the flower shop and he's out on the street a little bit, and there's,
The
he goes and
beach.
fucks someplace. Yeah, and there's their
Yeah.
big fight at the beach. But it's mostly in the dining room and in the kitchen of this restaurant. And what this movie's about, Cheesemeisters, is two brothers, Primo and Segundo, huh? First and second. Hmm?
Yep.
Primo is the cook, Tony Shalhoub. He is a genius. Like he's maybe the best chef that anyone who is in this movie has ever experienced. Uh, his brother Segundo runs the restaurant. He's the chef of the restaurant, and the restaurant is failing. They Primo will not sacrifice his art, his food, for what the customer wants, as witnessed by the first scene with the woman and the cigarette, who orders the seafood risotto and doesn't look like rice, and she doesn't see any seafood, so
Where's the
she's pissed.
spaghetti?
Yeah, she wants the spaghetti with a meatball, but the spaghetti doesn't come with the meatball because sometimes the spaghetti like it be by itself. Um, and but she's like, I want it, and when Segundo goes back in to tell Primo she wants pasta, he's like, "Why? Two starches. This woman's crazy. She goes, I need to go talk to her." Like real angry about it. And this is the whole problem with the restaurant is it's great, but it's what he wants and not what the customer wants,
Yeah.
and so it's not translating into a viable business. And so Segundo goes across the street to another Italian restaurant run by Pascal, who's Bilbo Baggins, and is looking for a loan because the bank is going to foreclose on them at the end of the month. And Bilbo is like, no, I'm not giving you any money because Primo's a genius, but he's you guys are just never going to work. This restaurant is never going to work. Um, but what you should do is just take a bite out of the ass of life. Like he's like super encouraging to like get out there and really do and really try and put all of your heart and your soul into it. And I'll tell you a story about I saw a movie with Humphrey Bogart in it. And I knew he was going to be in town, so I sent a bottle to his hotel with my business card, and he sent me back that signed picture. Isn't that cool? 6 months later, he comes back into the restaurant, and that's that picture. You just got to do it. You got to do the work. You got to put it out there, and maybe it'll come back to you. You know what? I won't give you any money, but I can do a favor for you. I'm good friends with Louis Prima, and he's coming to town. I will get him to your restaurant Saturday night. And just the fact that he has come there and tasted Primo's cooking is going to be enough to potentially save this restaurant. So they're going to have a big night. I mean, they invite Pascal and his wife, Isabella Rossellini, who happens to be fucking Primo. They invite Minnie Driver, who is dating Segundo, not fucking Primo, fucking Segundo.
Yeah. Primo's not fucking anyone.
No, Primo is just making that food. Minnie Driver, who is dating Segundo, comes to the restaurant as well. Allison Janney, who runs the flower shop that Primo is adorably attracted to, but too shy to say anything. She comes to the dinner, plus a newspaper man who wants to write a story about Louis Prima. And they have a big old dinner. And Primo cooks his heart. It's like the Top Chef finale, you guys. He cooks the meal of his life. For the assembled people, for the family that has come together, and for Louis Prima, who never shows up because he was never invited, because Pascal fucking sucks.
Yep.
He never called him. He basically wants this restaurant to fail so that the two brothers come to work for him, and he gets what he wants out of the deal. The two brothers have a gigantic fist fight on the beach because they can't marry their visions for what this is and make it successful. And they're super frustrated with each other. Primo is going to go back to Italy to take a job. And Segundo's like, you're abandoning whatever. It's a whole thing. You should come back with me. I'm not. I'm living here. It's blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. And then Segundo makes an omelet. End of movie.
Yeah.
And that omelet scene we're going to talk about because it's pretty great.
It is pretty great.
So that's what this movie is. That's what happens in this movie. And it's really, really good. Like, it's not super funny, although there are some funny things in it.
Yeah.
But it's very, like, poignant.
Yeah.
You know? Like, this is the thing that I wrote down when I was thinking about it today. This movie is about the inherent conflict between art and commerce. It is about, if you are doing your art for the sake of your art, like Primo is, right? His stuff is all about the food and all about what he wants to cook and what he feels. It's what he wants. Segundo he understands that, but he's trying to bring the commerce first. If make what they want, and then you can make what you want, right? It's a one for me, one for them kind of thing. And this movie says that the art has to come first, even if it means that the commerce fails.
Yeah.
And you know how you know that? Because the artist is named first and the commerce is named second. Literally. Primo and Segundo. First and second. They prioritize it for you in the names of the characters. And like Primo is constantly like, he wants to go yell at that lady because they don't put two starches on the plate. Would you want me to make some mashed potatoes and put them there too? And the meatballs, they don't go on the pasta. That they're separate. That's how this is supposed to be. This is the way you make this food. This is the way you eat this food. This is how it's done correctly. Not whatever bullshit you think you want me to make. You don't. You want me to make this because this is right.
Yeah.
And, because to him, to eat is to come close to God.
Yes.
Which they say in the movie. But if you put commerce first, that's where you get the, why don't I make them a hot dog? Maybe they'll like that. And Pascal puts the commerce first. So his business is successful.
Yeah.
But he would very much like to bring this artist into his commerce because he thinks he can probably capitalize on it, make it work. He doesn't want to elevate the food. He wants to elevate his bank account. Yeah. But there's a place for both. And if you're going to have a business, you have to have a business. Like, it can't just be the art, because if it's just the art, it may not continue.
Well,
and that's the conflict in this.
Yeah. And when art is inaccessible, people feel stupid and they don't want to keep trying to understand it or learn more about it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from this. And as you keep mentioning art, I'm thinking, yeah, this is why a lot of artists fail, because unlike restaurants, we don't know that we are our own business.
Yeah.
Which sounds insane, but I kid you not, Cheesemeisters. The conversations I have had with my best friend and other classmates, none of us were prepared for running us as a business.
Of course.
Yeah. And so I was going to say too, I feel like in addition to this being about art versus commerce, that's not exactly what you said, but maybe along those lines.
I mean, it's, that's the conflict.
I think the conflict is also, do I go back home where I can be successful and appreciated? Like, can I be, or do I keep trying elsewhere, even though I may not get it?
And that's the thing, right? It's the I may not get it is the thing. Because this whole evening is predicated on the promise of the salvation that getting your art in front of the right person brings.
Yeah.
Right? And when that person never shows up, what you're left with is the art. Right? It is the food you created and the evening that you created for the people in attendance. And those people had possibly the greatest meal of their life.
I was going to say, I feel like the evening they all had is going to go down in their own personal histories.
Yes.
This is one of the most fantastic nights of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And yet ultimately it wasn't successful.
But see, it wasn't business successful. It was art successful.
I mean, if not even just art, but if you want to look at, putting joy first, putting your life's work. Did you get to do the thing you loved today? Then it was a successful day.
There you go.
And what a beautiful thing to have a movie be about. And I feel like to ultimately, I feel like I don't want to say just yet, because I'm not even sure I can say with my whole chest, but once we discuss that final scene, definitely, I feel like I can say.
Okay.
Whether or not it accomplishes that.
Okay. I think that it is so Um, I love that idea that um, because you can't control the outcome, right? Like you can't control if all you can do is send the bottle of wine to Bogey's room.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know if he's ever going to come to your restaurant. He could come in 6 months or he could come in never. You
Yeah.
don't know. And you don't know if Louis Prima is ever going to show up. You've been told he is, but you don't know that he's going to show up. And even if he does show up, it may not save your restaurant, right?
All you
So
can do is
what?
shoot your shot.
All you can do is do the work,
Yeah.
right? Cook your meal, write your play, write your book, make your short film, like do your art,
Yeah.
regardless of what comes from it. Make your silly ass fucking podcast, right? I don't know if this is ever going to turn a profit. I don't know if it's going to make a dime. Okay? But I love this.
Yeah.
This is so good for me as a person to do this with you twice a week, to sit down and watch a movie I've never seen like Big Night and go, God damn, there's something going on in this movie and I really liked it. And I want to talk about it for an hour. And let's watch 90210, the silliest show on planet Earth, and talk about it like we're mad at Andrea's purple suit that she wore to church. You know what I mean? Like, take this shit seriously, because fucking Brandon. But
Um.
like, it whether this makes up money or not is not the point, and it's not the
Yes.
point of. It has to be the point of a business, which sucks,
Yeah.
but it's not the point of the art.
And like
And but
I that's where, listen, Cheesemeisters, vulnerable moment, because why not? That's where I went wrong in the arts super young. Because I remember in high school being like, I don't do this for fun. I do this because I have to. Okay.
mhm.
No, it's not cute. And like this like it's similar to what you just said. This podcast has been so good for me in relearning how to just have fun with something.
Mhm.
Do I get caught up in like thinking that it has to achieve these other things? Yes. And I certainly haven't let the fun of this carry over into other things just yet.
Mhm.
But, you know,
But
old
you
habits
totally
die
can.
screaming. And they
Yeah.
can. I can
Yeah.
learn to have fun again. I'm
Yeah.
getting there.
Because you know what? You're still young.
I guess. I mean, I
Here,
have. Listen,
hold on,
I'm
hold
right
on.
at that. Okay.
I'm Leslie from 14 years in the future. I've now got a beard. You were so young in 2025. Look at the way your hair looks as compared to the way it looks now. It's so gray. It's also much shorter. But you got this great beard. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo, doodly-doo.
You're so young. Shut up. I understand.
Yeah.
You're going through life things, and no one feels young when they're young.
I feel
You
like I
just
can't.
raised it on the wrong people.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I feel one way, I know the truth, and then I also have multiple generations yelling something at me, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'll just let you all talk. I don't know what I am. Like,
You're you.
I'm old enough to be president.
There you go. Do that. How about that? Do that next.
Yeah. I'm, I'm old enough to be president. I'm older than Jesus ever got to be. I'm younger than Dennis.
Dennis. Oh, yeah, because he has some lovely filth.
Thanks, love and Phil. I haven't
That's
reached
right.
my man. I'm gonna be so excited. 36 is just my waiting year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, it's real fun to be 37 and to be able to say, I'm 37. I'm not old.
I can't fucking wait. I'm gonna be insufferable.
It's good. Yeah, I'm all for it. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about Louis Prima. Like,
Okay.
and we'll talk more about him obviously in Needle Drop Forest. But I don't want to talk about the music of Louis Prima. I want to talk about the idea of Louis Prima. I want to talk about the Godot of Louis Prima,
The Guffman.
or the Guffman, which I wrote down Guffman and realized that it's just a clever way of writing MacGuffin. Like, Guffman is the MacGuffin of that movie.
Waiting for who's
Waiting for
wait,
Guffman. Right, it's Waiting for Guffman, right?
Yeah, but what?
You know what a MacGuffin is, right?
I don't.
In a movie, it's like the plot device. It's the thing that everybody wants.
Wow,
Yeah. I didn't realize that they called the MacGuffin Guffman in that movie.
that's funny.
It's pretty great. So I was watching this movie not even realizing that it was a Waiting for Godot Guffman kind of situation.
Yeah.
Until about halfway through the dinner, and I'm like, oh fuck, he's never coming. Like, and I don't know if I said that out loud or if you had this realization at the same time I did, or like where that landed. But the minute I realized he's not coming, the whole movie felt different.
Yeah.
Did you
It
have that
feels
same
sad.
experience? Yeah, there's a sadness that kind of seeps in when you realize that he's not coming. But I got to be honest, the sadness only lasted for a very small amount of time.
Right? Because I'm like, you're still having such a fun time. Everyone is having a good time.
Uh-huh.
No one, I mean, even the journalist who I feel like was the most logical person to keep asking about where's Louis,
Right.
was having a good time. And yeah, there's some other dramas happening between like Minnie Driver's character getting drunk and she's feeling
Right.
sad over Secondo. Like there's obviously a bunch of mini dramas, mini drama,
Mhm.
happening. But it all kind of pales in comparison to the overall joie de vivre of this evening.
Yeah. Yeah. The people there are having a great time. And like right after I noticed he wasn't going to be there is when they brought out what was that dish called?
Timpano?
The timpano. When they brought out the timpano, and you got to watch him cut into it. Yeah. And you got to watch everyone's faces as they tried the food.
Yeah.
And I'm a little spoiled because I've seen Phil Rosenthal eat food. So
Okay.
I have a certain level of expectation for what a face looks like when you love what you just put in your mouth. Because Phil from Somebody Feed Phil it's a travel show. It's awesome.
Oh, okay.
It's so he was like the co-creator of Everybody Loves Raymond. And now he does these travel shows and he goes around the world and Somebody Feed Phil and he just eats in all these different cities and he meets local people and he just has he's like the most open, nice person and he just like silly jokes but he like eats something. He's like he does he does a little dance sometimes. He likes something so much. Like Phil's face is like, oh, he loves that food. And I've watched a lot of Top Chef, so I know what those chefs and those judges' faces look like when they've had something that is, to quote Homer Simpson when he was a food critic, groin-grabbingly transcendent.
I couldn't wait when you said Homer Simpson was a food critic. I went, "This is going to be great."
Yep. The head of the newspaper was excited because he wanted a food critic who wouldn't poo-poo everything the minute they put it in their mouth, and Homer said, "No, that usually takes a couple of hours."
I wrote in Adventures in Intimacy, pleasure faces for food.
Yeah. So, like, getting to watch them all enjoy their food, even though they weren't enjoying it as much as Phil would have. Phil. Is like when I realized, And I got over it. That like whether Prima shows up or not doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because look at their faces. You know?
Yeah.
Like look at how much they enjoyed this. And I just thought that was so great. And it the movie has a somberness to it. There's a sadness to the fact that it's not going to succeed. But it also has such a joy
Yeah.
in the experience of the people sitting in that restaurant. There's even a little bit of joy in Primo because he's making the food he wants,
Right.
you know, the way he wants, and not compromising his art. He's just presenting his vision and his
It's
skill.
it's a story about appreciating the simple joys without
Mm-hmm.
being preachy.
Mm-hmm.
Because like especially when you look at the end, it's like, yeah, there's a sadness to everything that has just transpired.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm making omelets for people.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got I've got my brother.
Mm-hmm. But I've got Mark Anthony.
When he's not
This
sleeping on the counter.
no, well, you know, you gotta sleep somewhere. It's a busy night.
Oh my God, sleep
Um,
on one of the benches out there
I know
in the
it's true.
restaurant.
So yeah, let's talk about the omelet. The end of the movie is a 5-minute scene with a lockdown camera and no dialogue, and it is Secondo comes in and Mark Anthony's sleeping on the counter, like we were just talking about, and he kind of wakes him up and starts. They have a tiny little conversation, you know, no big deal. And then he takes out a pan and starts making eggs, and he makes 3 eggs. And we watch him make the eggs. There's no cutting here. This is actually Stanley Tucci making this omelet, and it looks like the perfect omelet. Like he does it well. It doesn't stick to this pan that is not non-stick because it's 1950. Like, but he makes this omelet, and he and Mark Anthony goes and gets like a big loaf of bread, and they tear chunks off of it, and he sort of cuts a third of it and gives it to Mark Anthony, cuts a third of it, puts it on his plate, leaves a third of it on the plate on the oven, and they sit down to eat. And then Primo, who when we saw him last was fist fighting with his brother,
Yeah.
comes in, sits down, Secondo serves him his omelet, and the three of them sit together and eat. And it's beautiful. It is simple. Yeah, puts his arm around
He
him.
even puts his arm around him.
Yeah. And it's the art divorced from the commerce. It's
Yeah.
just about cooking for people you love and sharing that moment together. And it's wonderful.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Like, I think what I love the most about it is that even though my brain wants to go to, what do you think happened? My heart is relaxed with it doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
because they have each other right now. They have eggs.
Yeah.
Like, listen, present day aside, like they have breakfast. Like
Yeah.
it's the simplest, and yet I feel like the best breakfast is just eggs and some bread.
Mhm.
And they have each other. They're breaking bread together. It is
Yeah.
they have this they're in this beautiful kitchen. They're getting to have this whatever is happening. They are together after
Mhm.
this momentous evening and can face anything now because they have each other or because
Mhm.
they had this moment. And yeah, it's so yeah, then I do think the evening was or I do feel like the movie was successful in telling this story of like at the end of the day, yes, these two have to marry each other in order to like be capitalist
Mhm.
success.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you need to have the joy. You need
Yeah.
to have the fun. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. It like
You need people.
you need the business to have a business.
Sure.
You don't need the business to have the art,
Yeah.
to have the food, to have the connection, the family, the love. You don't need the business to get close to God. You need the art.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It's just, and the fact that there's no dialogue to it, and there's no camera movement, and there's no cheat. He's just making these eggs.
Yeah.
And it's it's wonderful. You know,
It's so
it's just,
wonderful.
yeah, it takes the movie and that has sadness in it and gives it this breath at the end that feels, it leaves you feeling good,
Yeah.
you know, because when it all comes down to it, you can make your brother an omelet,
Yeah.
you know, and that's great. um do you want to do Adventures in Intimacy?
Hell yeah, I do.
All right, because I have not spoken a word about Secundo's love life and the Isabella Rossellini and Minnie Driver of it all. But that's also happening in this movie.
I'm going to warn you right now because of okay, Cheesemeisters. Fun fact, I just did like a week-long symposium about like intimacy choreography in practice and everything, and it was awesome. It was also overwhelming, and like I'm drowning in information and refiltering myself. So
Mm-hmm.
like I already struggle with this section, and I'm going to struggle with it a little more, but it's going to be fine because I have to like rethink and rephrase how I've spoken about some things, but it's fine. We're all speaking in draft. We're all a work in progress.
That's right.
Um,
Constant.
I also want to make sure I don't continue to share things that are not for me to share. Um,
Uh-oh.
it's fine. I only just now signed, or I signed the form last week. Anything I shared previously to that, well, I hadn't signed anything before, and if they, we'll figure it out when we're big.
You mean from the workshop?
From previous workshops.
Oh,
But again, this is all, look, this is work that is meant to be shared. I'm not sharing it
yes.
out of malice. I'm not making any money sharing
No,
it.
you're just helping
So,
people.
exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you. I needed
Yeah.
that. There's some interesting intimacy in this because we have Secondo, we see dating Minnie Driver, and they have this scene where they're making out in the backseat, more backseat canoodling. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Very compact.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they have this conversation about he's kind of needing to take a step back, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to ask you to marry me or like be serious. And I got the vibe from her that she was okay with it and maybe thrown by him talking about this, but you didn't get that vibe. You got the vibe that she was wanting something more serious. Am I
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we find out later on that he's cheating on her with Isabella Rossellini, which I'm sorry, who wouldn't be?
Right.
Um, and I realized I need to rethink how the quote unquote player is seen. You know, like because Stanley Tucci is not playing a stereotypical cheater, which as I say that now, I'm like, what does that even mean?
Right.
And this is where ICs come in handy because it's like, okay, why are you having these affairs? You know,
Mm-hmm.
what does one relationship mean to you versus the other? And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to rewatch all the scenes, but I rewatched the one where he's sitting on the toilet, not using it thankfully, but he's sitting on the toilet and Isabella Rossellini comes in to talk to him and they're both speaking in Italian. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, he feels closer to her. Like,
For that, yeah, in that way, for sure.
yeah, definitely. And I don't think he ever saw anything serious in his American girlfriend. Um,
I don't know. I don't know if it's that because I haven't landed on this either. Like I don't 100% know what they're getting at with these two relationships, but the Italian thing I think is interesting. I think that there's that maybe she represents um, home and
oh,
safety,
absolutely.
and obviously the sexual gratification he's not getting from Minnie Driver, but she's American. That's the future he wants.
Mm.
Like
Well,
he wants to move towards her, but he can't because he's
yeah.
not ready to do that. In part because he's still fucking Italy. Like he's not over Italy yet, so he can't become American. Like
Yeah.
maybe that's happening there. Like
I like that story. That story feels relatable. But again, like, I'm glad that it wasn't just me having a hard time understanding these relationships. And, like, not that cheating doesn't happen, but because it's so overdone, I can't help but ask why
mhm.
sometimes. Um, but I did really like, I mean, I loved Minnie Driver in this. But I also liked his chemistry with the character's name is Gabriella, is Isabella.
Mm.
Um, and I mean, he's just opening his heart to her in that scene, and she like comes down on his level and like you know gets closer to him, and they start kissing. And I realized, I was thinking about this as I first watched the scene, like the door is open,
Hmm.
neither of them care about being caught.
Right.
I don't think it's necessarily a desire to be caught. I just, they don't care.
I
And
think that the only person who could catch them already knows about it.
yeah.
Because he does accuse, like he basically Secondo gives Pascal the Joker coming back at Boss Grissom in Batman. You set me up over a woman, and he's like, I didn't do that. That wasn't why I did it. But like the fact that he thinks that that's why he lied to him about inviting Louis Prima
Yeah.
means that he sort of figured he already knew.
Yeah. I guess I could break down both relationships and the physical things that happened. There were beautiful little touches that happened in both relationships. Like, so there was a comfort, but there was clearly something missing, maybe more so between Secundo and Minnie Driver's character, that just didn't quite click for me story-wise.
Hmm.
But I like I like where your idea was going with, like, he wants the American life. He
Mm-hmm.
wants that. He wants that American dream. He's kind of stuck on missing home and what's great about home and the
Mm-hmm.
comforts of it. Yeah, I don't know. Because I didn't believe him when he was saying, like, hey, I'm sorry, but I need to take a step back. I need to focus on other things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I never got a sense of he's not a nice guy or he's a bad
Right.
guy or anything. I never got that. If anything, it probably just rang a little south of, I'm confused about my wants,
Mm-hmm.
my desires, because I'm doing the things, but it's not working. So why would it work out between us? It couldn't possibly be because I'm cheating on you. That can't be why.
No, that's probably not part of it.
Have you seen Don Draper? He's around here somewhere.
Yep. Have you seen everyone from in Goodfellas? Like Saturdays for the wives, Friday nights is for the girlfriends. That's how this works.
Oh,
Hey, you haven't seen Goodfellas. We gotta watch
no, I
that.
haven't.
It's a good movie. Um. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was so yeah. I don't even know if this is worth bringing up, but I wrote it down because I noticed that Gabriella and Stanley Tucci were both uh, fully dressed post
Mm-hmm.
coitus.
Mm.
kind of doing that thing again, kind of like in Psycho. And again, I mean, what that reads to me now, the more I watch film and see this pop up, I'm like, okay, these actors said, like, or the director could have been like, I don't want to deal with nude actors. You're going to be in this thing. Costumes, find them something. And I'm like, there's so much cool draping you can do with a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different shots you can do to avoid seeing things. And like, we know they've had ways to cover parts because when we covered Psycho, everyone go listen to us talk about Psycho. I'm
That's
brilliant.
right. It's a really good movie.
And it's a good movie. But, I learned from that movie, she worked with the costumer to figure out moleskin works as a cover so she didn't have to be completely exposed. Like, and that movie's way older than Big Night.
Yep.
So it's just interesting to me, and I feel like it kind of takes, I don't want to say it takes away, even though, but it something like that, wearing that many layers post coitus and not even having anything look disheveled really takes me out of it.
Hmm.
Like, have a strap down, have a leg slightly more exposed,
Mm-hmm.
have your belt undone, or some. He might have had his belt undone because he was doing up his pants, I think. Just, you can look in slightly more disarray. I know people have sex in clothes.
Yeah, but put a cum stain on the blanket or something.
Oh my God.
Was that not what you meant?
No, but I suppose if that is the story you were trying to tell, if this is a college humor drama, then yeah, sure, put a cum stain there. But this is not a college humor drama. This is a Tucci classic. What else do I want to talk about with Adventures in Intimacy? Oh my God! Speaking of fingers, there
Let's talk about it.
there were a lot of fingers. Okay, for a sort of post-COVID society, this movie can be a little triggering, and I do mean that word because we all went through a trauma. Because there's a lot of touching of food with their hands.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of putting food into other people's mouths with your fingers. And I'm not even sure if I would let my own partner do that now. I'd be like, ah!
I don't know where that finger's been.
Still wrecked. And then, it's not that you need a choreographer to show people how to, like, show enjoyment from food. But if you are wanting a specific look to the face, which sometimes when you're enjoying really good food, it does look like someone having an orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say that. And also,
Right.
what does that mean? Like,
Right.
well, then what is my face doing? Because that could be comical. Like, that could have a completely different context depending on the person. Or like, then they start making sounds and you're like, oh God, we did not need sounds. We just needed facial expressions. So it's like, I don't know, make a face as if like, what's your favorite food? And you think of that. Or like, oh, you just had like someone hit the sweet spot on, where a knot was and they worked it out. Oh God. Yeah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that, that less sexual language. Cause
Mm-hmm.
it's not guaranteed to be helpful to people to
Sure.
say that.
Yeah.
And it also just makes the room unnecessarily tense, And
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm saying this is what I would make sure didn't happen if like
Right,
I was
right.
working on a film like this. Let's see. I wrote down Ian Holm, weirdo with no boundaries. That's so true. His character was doing some weird shit to his
Mhm.
friends. Like when he does his take a bite out of the ass of life or something, it just looks weird. And I was thinking about it, like, obviously you don't want his face inward more because he's not going to literally take a bite out of this person's ass. Or,
Right.
I don't know, he's that wacky of a character. He might actually do that.
100% would have done that. I believe
Probably.
that Pascal has bitten Secundo's ass at least once.
So then you need to angle the camera to look more like that instead of that he just I'm bending my head down right behind your butt and
Right.
now I'm up again because
Yeah.
that's kind of what it looked like. And that's
Sure.
not the actor's fault. That's, you the camera is part of the scene. It is a
Hmm.
character as well. Yeah, but I mean, I think that and oh, he would sit this goes into something else I noticed. He would sit right next to Stanley Tucci.
Oh.
And I was thinking about how
Huh.
men in other cultures uh, are more physically touchy with each
Yeah.
other.
Sure.
They might hold hands.
Hmm.
They will, do the maybe
Hmm.
on the cheeks or like actually embrace instead of do the American like have
Right.
on the
Sometimes
back.
they'll hop on your back and ride you around the room. Not in a sex way like Vikings. Sometimes
Oh,
they'll do that. Vikings apparently. I don't know.
pony play?
Oh, brony play.
Never.
I don't know what
So
bronies are up to these days. Probably that.
I don't either. Saw a whole lot of bears in Andersonville last week, so they might know.
Oh,
Um, but
fuzzy
yeah.
chests. Jim Walsh.
So yeah, those are. Let's see. Trying to think what else. That's that's most of what I've got. I feel like I would be remiss in not talking about the cuteness that is Tony. How do you say his last name?
Shalhoub.
Shalhoub. Shalhoub.
Shalhoub.
Badly flirt with Allison Janney.
So cute.
That was another area like those actors. They had it. They just needed to be. Again, the camera needed to be watching them and helping to tell the story, and they also needed to be allowed to like do more with their bodies in the
Mm.
space. Like they again, it was very much like a play. They just kind of stood there.
Mm.
And
Except for him, like he climbed in the flower thing.
well that was the most awkward thing he does other than like just not pick up on her hints. I mean, buddy, she tells you she's probably going to take a bath.
Mm-hmm.
She's telling you she's going to be naked.
She wants you to think of her
She wants you
without
to
clothes
think
on.
of her naked. Don't be weird about it.
Right.
Don't. What did I just say, Jeff?
Oh, sorry. That was weird. Shit. My weird gauge is off. You know what I should do? I should adjust it.
Wow. That was fun. I just felt like chastising you for once. I let you
Yeah,
get
you
away
should.
with so much.
I'm a total weirdo.
You are.
Ah.
Now I'm so distracted. But yeah, so they have this very cute, bad, flirtatious thing happening, and she's taken with him. She's trying to drop him hints. He's taken with her, and he's not picking up anything that she's laying down, but he's still
Mhm.
trying to hang out and figure it out anyway. Because he's a Renaissance man. I don't know. He's way old school. That's what we figured out. He's old world.
Yeah.
Again, whatever that means. Like it's so funny. We talked so much last week about like, deloading language, desexualizing language and all of that and I'm not going to go into all that cuz I've sort of talked about it here. But saying something like, "Oh, well, your character's very old world." Okay, well, what does that mean? That
Hmm.
that also has a lot of context that I may not know as an actor. Like,
Right.
can you explain this further? Um Words, people. That's all I'm trying to tell you is we all need to be better at words. Don't be like 1984 and condense your dictionary.
Nope.
Words.
Big words.
Big words. Some people like Travis Kelsey are super into it, and they are the type of partner to aspire to.
Okay. Yeah.
P.S. Watched. This
Go
does not
ahead.
need
You
to
watched
say
the
it.
whole 2 hours, didn't you?
Fuck yeah, I did.
Sure you did.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah, I did. Had I ever listened to New Heights before? No. Will I ever again? Not until Taylor's back on.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. Yeah, Taylor announced her album last night. You guys, When you're listening to this, it's already come out, and I assume that you love it. So, but you're catching us in a moment where we know it is going to exist, but we have not heard it yet. And
My
so,
makeup may or may not be an homage to her.
oh, well, there you go. My makeup may or may not also be an homage to Travis Kelce. I'm fucking.
Thank you for indulging me.
You know what? I walked into work this morning and I was like, "Okay, Sonia. Okay, Abby, tell me about it."
And you didn't text me?
Well, it was at work, and they were like, "You missed it. We already talked about it for 10 minutes, but we'll talk about it some more."
Fuck.
And I was like, "All right, bring it."
I totally had a moment this morning where I was like, because I saw the album cover and when it was coming out, and I was just like, it's still early. Who do I talk to? I only have like 2 confirmed Swiftie friends.
Yeah, I'm not a Swiftie. I don't care. I just like it when people like stuff.
Right.
You know, I think it's great when people love a thing. So fucking love it. Have a great time with your new Taylor Swift album. I'm sure that I'll hear a few of the songs here and there and go, these are pretty good. Like, that's probably going to be the extent of my involvement. But I'm super happy for all of you Swifties.
I was about to say something crazy.
Do it. Say something crazy. Like, gonna lick Taylor Swift's asshole tomorrow or whatever
Fuck no.
you were gonna say.
Oh my god, no.
I don't know what you're gonna say. That'd be crazy.
I feel like admitting you're a Swiftie is a little bit, at least for me, like coming out, like it's very awkward and uncomfortable and you don't know how people are gonna react. And it's like it shouldn't matter. It's a joyful thing. Just let people be. But
Yeah.
and so yeah, it was great to just be like, wait, she did a whole 2-hour interview with them and it's on YouTube. I can watch it. All right, I'm gonna go watch it. And like just to hear her talk about her work is really cool. And I would love to hear anyone else talk about their work because it excites them.
Yeah.
And today I was watching Taylor.
Yep. So, but when you're listening to this, we've already heard the album and I'm sure it's great. Speaking of music, let's go to Needle Drop Forest.
Yes.
It's Louis Prima, you guys.
Louis Prima.
Like that's what we're talking about. So do you know Louis Prima at all?
No.
Okay. You do though.
Yeah, as we discussed before.
As we discussed before, that specifically, but there's a few other Louis Prima, his music has been in everything.
I figured.
And when I heard the name Louis Prima, the first song that comes to my mind is Jump, Jive, and Wail, which is it's a song that swing dancers dance to. It had a resurgence after Swingers. It wasn't part of Swingers, but it had a resurgence when that music got big, in part because Brian Setzer Orchestra did a version of Jump, Jive, and Wail. And so it like shined new light on this song from Louis Prima, which is a great song. But here are some other things that are Louis Prima that you know. I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, ooh, what they're saying. You don't know Just a Gigolo?
No.
Paid for every dance, selling each romance. Ooh, what are they saying? See, this is because you're too young, I think. Because David Lee Roth did a version of Just a Gigolo in the 80s. It's a huge hit, but this song's a great song. Boozgy boozgy bop, zitty bop. It's great. Just a Gigolo is great. Here's a song I know for a fact you know. Pennies from Heaven.
Sing some.
Every time it rains, pennies from heaven, pennies from heaven. I didn't do a good job of it, but it's an Elf.
Oh, okay.
You know that song? He's like doing stuff. It's one of the songs playing Zooby Dooby.
It's not coming to me, but I believe you. Like,
yeah, you know Pennies from Heaven.
Yeah,
because you've seen it a bajillion times in Elf. You know, because we talked about it. King Louis of the Apes. Yeah. This guy is a Disney character, y'all. Louis Prima is the voice of King Louis in the Jungle Book. So,
I
like,
love that scene.
yeah, like there's a
Oh,
lot of
Jungle Book.
people who that's what they know him from. That's where they recognize his voice from, is from. Uh,
I want to be like you.
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And then he's in this episode like 5 times. They played like 5 of his songs. They played Buona Sera and O Marie and Love of My Life and a song called 5 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days, which I kind of want to hear because that sounds funny. I'm sure it's the whole story.
It's kind of like asking people, do you know Hamlet? And you're like, you do, because we quote him constantly, or we quote
Right.
that play. You just don't realize it.
You don't realize it's him. Yeah. I'm surprised you don't know Just a Gigolo because that song was great. I ain't got nobody. Nobody cares for me. Nobody.
I hate to say this about myself, but it really shouldn't shock you, the things that I don't know.
But I figured that one would have been in your pocket at least a little bit. Like there's lots of stuff I'm not surprised you've never heard of, but like that one I figured,
I
figured
like to
you knew
be
Just a Gigolo.
I like to be full of surprises. People think they know me, and then they hit the one thing in a subgroup that I'm in, a sub genre that I'm into, and I'm like, I don't know it. You don't know me.
I'm way dumber than you think.
I know.
It's all right.
Your
but
color's uglier than me. Oh wait.
Oh, it came out wrong. But the Louis Prima of this movie, because I spent like an hour just listening to his music while I was sort of walking around getting my head right for the podcast tonight, and his music is joyous. There's a bounce to it, and it brings a cheer and a lightness to this movie that I think the movie kind of needs, because otherwise it could feel a little bit like a downer. So good choice from the Louis Prima of it all, I think.
Agreed.
All right, what else time? What else you got?
I think this movie is a good reminder that Italian food wasn't always revered and appreciated as it is now.
I heard something that this was like in the 40s, 30s, 40s, like people didn't make spaghetti at home
I believe
because they didn't think that kids would eat it because it was too hard, it was too messy, it was like, what am I do? What do I do with this? You know what fixed it?
Go ahead.
SpaghettiOs.
Ugh.
Turning them into tiny little circles that kids could pick up and eat with their fingers, and they wouldn't choke on because it's got a hole in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like, it taught America that you could eat and enjoy Italian food. Isn't that crazy? That SpaghettiOs had that much of an impact? Because SpaghettiOs is garbage, but I loved it when I was a kid.
I'm only disappointed about that because of present day ignorance. Like, I understand. We were talking about this with the inventor of K-cups earlier. Like, things are invented for a specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always to become as broad sweeping as they end up being.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's, if how you came to Italian food is through SpaghettiOs or Fazoli's, Olive Garden,
right,
as long as you got to eventually try a more authentic version of Italian food, although I guess if you feel like you don't need a more authentic experience, then that's your choice. I guess
people just want soup, salad, and breadsticks.
And that's fine. Except,
and that's pasta.
I don't know. I'm one of those people, like, I don't necessarily, I get why we need the gateway food to bring us into other cultures, because other cultures are scary. If we don't know what something is made of, it's scary. What am I putting in my mouth? If you have got dietary issues like me, it's really scary.
Mm-hmm.
And, I very much don't want to be that person that's like, I'm sorry, what's in this?
Right.
But I also want an authentic experience, Like, I want to try the food as it would be in other places because I'm not going to get to travel anytime soon.
Right. Yeah.
You know, um, but yeah, that's really interesting about Chef Boyardee. I was just going to say too, my mom shared a memory with me once about how when she was first introduced to pizza,
Mm.
her mom said, "Oh no, she won't want it. She no." And I'm like, "That's so sad that you could have had an experience with pizza much sooner had your mother not said."
Just been wrong. Yeah.
I know. But
Yeah.
you know what? If I could go back in time, if I could turn back time, I'd fix that for my mom.
There you go. Give her more pizza. That's what everybody needs.
That can't break anything, right?
Probably
That can
not.
only make the world better.
Maybe if your mom had more dairy, you would not have such gastro problems.
Oh my god.
Maybe you
Right?
fix your stomach by giving your mom pizza. Time machine.
Okay, but I had a very cheesy wrap yesterday, and I was like, I thought infusion fixed this.
Well, I hope that it did for your butthole's sake.
I was fine. It was just toots.
Toots magoots. So I have two very different things I want to talk about in What Else Time. Oh, but first let me ask you if this is anyone's defining role. Yeah, it's not really. I mean, because Stanley Tucci's done so many things. And Tony Shalhoub is Monk. Come on.
Allison
And-
Janney is...
Claudia Jean, baby.
I know. I was like, someone from West Wing for you. She's just one of my favorite actresses.
She's
like,
so good.
There is not. I mean, that's not true. The mom in Juno, I think, is what got me onto her. But
Sure.
now I love. I mean, if I see her, I'm just like, yes,
Yeah, she's super good.
so good. Minnie Driver, Good Will Hunting, or
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. And then Bilbo Baggins is Bilbo Baggins.
I don't know what Isabella Rossellini's defining role would be, but I knew her from. She showed up on Friends.
She was in Wyatt Earp. She played a character called Big Nose Kate.
Oh, and she does not have a big nose.
No, it must have been. It's a false nose. They did this to me.
They dressed me up like this.
That's right. They dressed me
There's
up
a
like
false
this.
one.
Well, she has got a wart. Okay, so the two very different things that I want to talk about. One, I mentioned this to you when we watched the movie, but I need to tell you the story of the dumbest dinner I ever went to.
Oh, hell yeah.
My sister-in-law and I do not have the same taste in anything. I have a business idea that I'd never go broke on just because she exists. It's a service called Crapflix, where we just send you the worst rated movies ever and you watch and enjoy them. Because she likes garbage. She just likes terrible things. And that's fine. Everybody likes their own stuff. But this was her idea, and we did this. We went to some Italian restaurant in one of the suburbs, and this is like Laura and we're dating. I don't think we're engaged at this point. And it was a Sopranos themed Italian dinner, and it was like on the second floor room of this Italian restaurant, and the Italian food was like you know how every event you go to has penne al vodka in a big like silver tin over a sterno flame.
Yeah.
That was the quality of the food. And there was a floor show of people pretending to be characters from The Sopranos doing God knows what this was.
I refuse to work for these things.
You
can't
should
do it.
refuse.
Shout out to the people who do it. I can't do it.
It was so bad. And you were just stuck there in the middle of whatever the fuck this thing is for like an hour and a half. It was excruciating. And I left that and I was like, I I'm kind of out of words after what I just had to experience. So we're watching everyone have this big fun Italian dinner with people jumping and dancing, and all I'm thinking of is the Sopranos meal that I had 20 years ago that was just terrible.
Oh, how sad.
Yeah, but like funny in like, especially, in retrospect. Here's the other thing I want. Wait a minute. Do you have anyone else's? Because maybe it's good if you do. Okay. Because we could break that up with this.
No,
So
sorry.
I was doing stuff, reading things, and I always like to go see what Roger Ebert was up to with these movies, and he really liked Big Night when it came out in 1996. And then I saw another thing that was like revisiting Big Night on his 25th anniversary. And it was on Roger Ebert's website, even though he was already gone at this point. He still has people write on his website for, it's a brand, whatever. And so I'm reading this, like, how the movie holds up, and the reviewer was like how great this was and how touching it was. And then I did the math because he started talking about it. The 25th anniversary was 2021. So he's talking about this movie, and he said it's kind of hard to write about this right now because it's a movie about a restaurant that fails. And there are so many restaurants failing right now, not due to anything that they have done, but because we can't go to them. And so restaurants are dying, which is what happens in this movie, and that's really hard. But what's worse is sitting here in 2021, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go have a dinner like this ever again.
Yep.
And watching it with the context of us surviving that shit and being able to go back out to dinners again and have it be normal like it was before, even though at the time it felt like maybe it'll never be normal again. And in that moment, when maybe it'll never be like this again, watching people have this kind of a meal in this kind of an environment with friends and family it makes it wistful.
Absolutely.
And I was reading that review and I felt it. Like, I felt how nice it is to look back on a time when you could do that and remember what it felt like when we couldn't.
Yeah.
And that's not a level of experience I expected to have with this movie, because I don't feel that COVID dinner thing anymore. That's not living in my body. At least I didn't think it was until I read this and I felt it immediately.
I mean, it was definitely living in my body, but in a different way. Because, Laura and I were both like, they're touching the food.
Right. Sure.
Mm-hmm. I get so disturbed by how little I remember of that time now. And I'm like, it's clearly there. It's there somewhere. But also maybe there's only so much to remember because it was so much. It was like this movie in that it was waiting. It was just a lot of waiting. And like,
it was.
Man, learning to get used to a new normal is really fucking weird.
And, especially a shitty normal.
I mean, I know what I'm going through this summer is going to be temporary, but it has definitely been a shitty normal.
Yeah.
But I ought to be used to those at this point. I mean, many of us should. At some point in your life, it's like you probably had to normalize so many shitty things in your life.
Or just survive them. And fortunately, we can all have big family dinners again.
Yeah.
And that's pretty great.
Big, awkward fit. No, I'm kidding. I don't. Yeah. They don't have to be that, people. There's chosen family joyous out there. But yeah, they can absolutely be joyous. Mm-hmm. Stick to movies. Talk about us.
That's right. Yeah. Tell people about the Peach Pod, motherfuckers. Yeah. All right. What is the EST of for you?
This is the most Italian play I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I've seen
That's
a
the
lot
best
of
I could come up
Italian
with.
things. Yeah, my problem with the ESTs was like I've seen so many Italian movies. I've seen so many things about food. You
This is
know,
the most. I'll come up with something else. This is the most uplifting story about not financially succeeding. That is a very long EST,
sure,
but
I get it.
I'm coming up with this on the fly, y'all.
I get it. Um, I don't know if it's the EST of it, but it kind of it's it's not the first movie that treated food like this, but it's real close. Where it treated food as a an art, as an act of love, as a connector, but also showed how difficult it is to run a restaurant, and that it could because you have not watched The Bear, but
No.
I love The Bear, and there's so much of The Bear is this movie if you add um, way more trauma, way more family trauma than you could possibly imagine. Like there's so much fucking family trauma in this show, and it informs everything that happens. Um, but it's also about the genius cook
Yeah.
who is trying to do something with his food and
Mhm.
the business realities of it, which, not for nothing, Oliver Platt, who he and Stanley Tucci came up together. Oliver Platt is in The Bear as Uncle Business, basically.
Oh,
Like, yeah, he finances the restaurant, and he's the one going, if this doesn't turn a profit in this amount of time, you're all fucked. I'm closing the restaurant.
where's
You
my
know,
uncle business?
right? We need Uncle Business. Um, but so like I've watched 4 seasons of The Bear, which is a lot of this kind of story. You know, treating restaurants like this, treating food like this. Um, John Favreau's movie Chef, which I don't know if you've seen, but that movie's
I have.
great. It's so fun, and
Yeah.
it treats food like this. And I've watched lots of cooking shows, like Top Chef. Didn't Top Chef used to be a silly, reality competition, but it is so much now. The last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, so much more about the food and the cooking and the experience of the chef and what they're bringing to the table. That the themes of Big Night felt very familiar to me because I've been watching them for the last 20 years. You know,
Did you ever watch Julie and Julia?
I've not seen that.
I really enjoyed that film
Yeah.
because it's bridging the gap between, you know, Julia Child's cookbook and bringing it in, to the modern times.
Uh huh.
Now, 10 years ago.
Right.
It's older than that. Yeah, I do. I don't watch a lot of cooking shows. Just I don't watch a lot of reality TV in general anymore.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like I probably like cooking shows because I really enjoy cooking. Like
Hmm.
I cook a lot to save money, and thankfully, I'm good at it. Um, can I do anything in depth? Not really, but I'm fucking resourceful.
Hmm.
And at the
And
end, of, yeah,
you can feed yourself and your family and your friends, which is what this movie says is what food is for.
and like, yeah, that's been one of the saddest things to me about this city living this time around is like I have not gotten to cook for people the way I
Mm,
have in other cities, and that hurts me. But
yeah.
when you're in New York, people want to go out,
Yeah, it's true.
and I'm like, then you can treat me. I don't
Yeah.
have going out money.
Buy me dinner, god damn it. Uh, all right, I think that once again we have proven my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling.
Even Big Night.
Even Big Night. I like this movie. This was good.
I did too.
All right,
was
cheese
a nice
meisters.
palate cleanser.
It was an amuse-bouche. It amused my bouche. All right, so join us here next week, Cheese Meisters, on Wednesday when we watch season 4, episode 20, Scared Very Straight. And join us here next Friday when I'm kind of excited about this. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and it's a fucking classic, and you've never seen it. We're going to watch The French Connection.
Oh, yes. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to find out what happens when you pick your toes in Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
Yep. It's pretty great. I don't want to say anything more about it, but French Connection is a good movie. So until then, Cheese Meisters.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There's a fly in my drink.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know.
What's he doing? The backstroke?
Oh my God.